My third video builds on my last rapid turn video where I presented a low profile tailstock option that enables a little larger working envelope. The purpose of this video is to take the next logical step and show how we can reduce the time required to transition between milling and rapid turn operations. I'll show a couple modifications I've made to maintain full table movement for milling operations while keeping the rapid turn mounted. Plus, these modifications further increase the rapid turn's work envelope to full table movement of 18 inches on the Tormach 1100. Also, I'll show how I added a second motor plug receptacle to the motor junction box and a heavy-duty toggle switch to reduce the constant climbing up to swap motor plugs between the mill and the rapid turn. So I'll present this video in two parts. First, the mechanics, and finally, the electronics. Again, the goal is to transition between milling and rapid turn operations as easily and rapidly as possible. After working with the rapid turn a while, I realized if I could extend the length of the base plate by approximately 2 inches and also move the headstock mounting holes another ½ inch to the rear of the base plate, I could keep my 2 milling vices and fixture plate I use the majority of the time and keep the rapid turn mounted. It became obvious that with the loss of 2 inches of table movement in the original configuration as shown here, I could easily pick up those lost inches of work area by extending the rapid turn base plate. With the original base plate, I had to remove the chuck and still couldn't quite center my fixture plate, so I wanted a little safety cushion for milling larger parts. Here you can see my new base plate next to the original. An additional benefit gained, besides increasing the working envelope and the ability to keep the rapid turn mounted, the rear table mount T-slot bolts are now easier to get to since they're in front of the rapid turn headstock versus underneath. Since I now keep my rapid turn mounted for longer periods of time, I use cutting board material under the base plate to avoid possible mill table rust. This material is less than 1 millimeter thick. I used the spindle center height above the table, including this cutting board material, to set my tailstock center height. Here you can see the difference in length between the original and my lengthened base plate when sitting on the table. Here you can see the rapid turn mounted on the lengthened base plate and the ability to utilize the entire table working envelope. Two other minor modifications I also made are shown here. I used 1/16 inch ABS plastic to make a simple motor fan cover which helps keep chips from getting drawn into the motor. It has sufficient circumference and space from the motor housing to allow for good airflow. Also, I added a simple stop to the mill spindle which allows mounting the rapid turn tool post with repeatable alignment. So now all I have to do to switch between the mill and rapid turn is remove my fixture plate, mount my tailstock when needed, still have to power down the mill and switch the VFD key. Those of you with the Tormach 700 don't have to worry about the VFD key change. Flip my motor junction box toggle switch and power back on. As you can see here, I can now keep the rapid turn chuck mounted and still have full milling table movement. Now for the electronics. Here's the motor junction box, original configuration. I purchased a second motor plug receptacle and remounted the original to allow both plug receptacles to sit next to each other. Then I added a 3-pole double throw toggle switch designed to handle the current load. Switching to the left connects the VFD to the rapid turn, and switching to the right connects the mill's motor. So the only time I need to unplug anything is when I remove the rapid turn altogether. I never need to unplug the mill's motor. I'm happy with these modifications, and it certainly does save time by not having to remove my Rapidturn as often, and makes the transition easier and faster. One final thought, maybe in the future Tormach could consider making it easier to transition Path Pilot between the mill and Rapidturn without having to power down. Perhaps a prompt to rekey and reboot the VFD.
Remember, time is money, people. Take care. Thanks for watching.